Okay, good evening, everyone. Today is June 16th. This is a meeting of the Wolfeboro Budget Committee at the Wolfeboro Public Library. Tonight will be discussion items to be the draft meeting schedule for 2026 budget presentation, rules of procedure, town manager's report, other business, public comment, and adjournment. If you guys would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. And Brian, could you help us out with that?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Discussion items. Draft meeting schedule for 2026 budget. How are you making that on, Leanne, on the schedule? Looks pretty good, or?
Yeah, the library confirmed that all of the dates, the Bradley room is available.
Okay.
For all of the dates. So we're good there. So the next step will be, I will email it out to the department heads and see whether or not there's any conflicts with them.
Jim, how does this schedule work with you when you're?
It looks fine, Joe.
It's okay, okay.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Jim, if the select board isn't meeting till July 16th to set your budget, what happens with our budget is it tends to move within quite a few holidays, whereas I think if we are able to move up our schedule a little bit, we can stay out of some of those holidays and allow our staff to be home through those periods and not out in the middle of the week, like right before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving or around some of the other holidays. I'd like to see if we can wait until the select board comes up with their schedule on July 16th, and then maybe we can bring the schedule up a little bit and start our meetings maybe in October and a little sooner, right after, they finish their evenings. Just because we push this out pretty far, and one of the problems is with pushing it out is we don't allow the citizens time to have petition warrant articles. So we're wrapping up after the petition warrant article date for citizens, where I think that's, as representatives here ourselves, speaking out for the citizens, I think that it would be good to be able to give them a voice of what a final budget is within a timely manner for them to be able to present petition warrant articles for the community.
Any comments on that, Jim?
So what I can give you at this point is our goal to have the Board of Selectmen vote on and move the budget to the Budget Committee is no later than October 29th.
October 29th.
From that point, it usually takes a week to produce the books, because all of those changes need to be made within the Unismart. Would it be feasible to bring it to the first meeting on the 6th as opposed to the 13th? I think that's feasible, but that's up to the Budget Committee. But our goal is to have completion on the 29th of October.
Thank you.
I have a comment or a request.
Certainly.
The fire and emergency management meeting currently on Thursday, the 20th of November. Would it be at all possible to hold the meeting next door, if it's available, obviously? But to
in the safety building?
yes.
Jim, is that all set up over there, or?
So, John, it will be set up. It was a noticing issue with not being able to hold the meeting next door with New Hampshire Municipal Association. I see no issues with having the fire and police if you so desired in that building.
Does that work for everybody? Got everything all set up and everything, Jim?
It
All
it
set?
will be, yeah.
Okay.
It will be.
We can have recordings and whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a question, and we've talked about it before, and I don't know if we should or we shouldn't, but for the agency grants, should the Board of Selectmen schedule their last meeting, or one of their last ones, to be agency grants, and the Budget Committee and the Board do those all together at the same time, so the agencies don't have to come to the town twice? It's just, I don't know if it's feasible. It would have to be a pretty big meeting. It would have to be at the Great Hall, and we might be able to get them all there one time. It's earlier in the season, so you might not have a snow issue, which happens with the Budget Committee, and it's up to you. I guess you would, then it would have to be 2 votes for each agency. The Board of Selectmen would have to have 1 vote. The Budget Committee would have to have their own separate vote. And for these votes, I would have to just choose to vote as a select board member and abstain from the votes with the Budget Committee.
We've got it moved up to the November 13th.
When is that meeting for agencies?
We haven't set it yet, so we could set it so that it works for you guys. Maybe move yours to towards the end of October, and ours is at the end of October, maybe October 22nd. Then you would have a break, and you could actually then shift all your schedule up 1 week too, and that would get you further away from the when we're doing deliberative session and everything. It would give you a little breathing room.
Brian, go ahead.
Would it make sense so you're not noticing 2 separate board meetings at one location, that if we were to attend the selectmen's meeting and then take a vote later as a budget committee, attend the selectmen's meeting, listen to their pitch,
Okay.
so they don't have to come back and see us.
And then at a meeting, you could just vote
And then at a
one,
meeting,
done
we
to
just
approve all
go
of it.
down the
Yeah,
list.
There's always more than one way to cook an egg, and I'm open to anything.
Jim, could we use the meeting room downstairs, like attend the select board meeting and then immediately adjourn to leave that meeting and go downstairs and have a separate meeting downstairs to vote that night? So,
Like happens at the deliberative session.
yeah, we vote after the
Yeah.
deliberative session, but go downstairs, because sitting through the whole select board meeting with everything else that will happen that evening necessarily.
Would we be able to pose questions? I mean, if we were just attending the select board meeting, or should we?
I think you
Notice.
hit one of the problems, Brian. I think it needs to be a
Yeah.
jointly
Yeah.
noticed meeting so that you as the Budget Committee and the Board of Selectmen can speak to the applicants. And correct me if I'm wrong, Leanne or John, don't you normally table the votes until later in the season during the budget cycle, as opposed to voting on them
Yeah,
that night?
unless we want to make a change that night.
Correct.
But it's voting on the entire agency budget, that won't be till the end.
Yeah.
All right, so you don't have to vote, you can just listen, you can ask questions,
Ask questions.
and then you can vote when you normally do later. And it's just a thought, I don't know if it's too much, because people don't like change, and it's a big swallow.
And I do think it's a lot to ask of these people to
Come
attend
twice.
2 meetings.
Well, it is nice that they're moved up this year, because normally they get hit right when we're around Christmas time, New Year's Eve, and then there's also weather, and some of them come from pretty far away.
And
So
I would
think
also suggest that
moving,
Brian makes a good point on October 22nd, because that would be a standalone budget, Board of Selectmen budget meeting.
Great.
It would not be a regular business meeting. So that would be the optimal date to do it.
Get a broken clock is right twice.
so can you make a motion on that, Brian?
I'm the representative, I don't know if I should make a motion.
Should be, go ahead, Bob, you make the motion.
I motion that we move welfare and agency grants to October 22nd in conjunction with the select board.
So
What-
second?
what's the
Not
matter?
welfare, just agency grants. Right?
Not welfare.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, welfare
You
is,
don't
Yeah,
want
just,
Amy-
we don't need wealth.
yeah, we don't,
Just
well, we don't,
agency.
know,
Just
that's
agency
Amy,
grants.
that's different.
So
Okay,
Amy will
just get
be
rid of
there
it.
anyways, because she's the minute
Right.
taker for
Yeah.
these, so
Right,
it's irrelevant.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna stick with welfare and agency grants? We've got a
No,
second?
just
agency.
welfare.
Yeah,
Just
agency
Just
grants.
agency
Just agency grants.
I mean, just agency.
Right.
Okay, we've got a second. You okay on that? You second that?
Yes.
Yep.
So are we moving it to a date certain, or are we just gonna move it to a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen? Because you have not confirmed your dates yet with the Board of Selectmen.
Jim said
So-
October.
October 22nd, Jim said.
So
But they're not
we
confirmed.
have a tentative schedule in alignment with the board. I have a meeting with staff on Thursday to try and button that down for the Board of Selectmen to vote on their schedule and the budget guidelines for July 16th. So this is a timely conversation. I feel comfortable with being able to plug that in that way.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Any other discussion? So if we're gonna make any adjustments, either up or down, are we gonna do it that night, or are we going to do it when we go over the final budget?
Yeah, I think we can make that decision then. You know,
Yeah.
it depends on how long the night runs and what kind of attendance we have.
How much room we have to meet.
Yeah.
Well, we'll technically already be in a meeting, so we don't have to adjourn the meeting, and the public will, it will already be a published meeting, so there won't be a problem voting if we did want to vote that evening.
And like when you have your agency grant meeting, the only people that will be at that meeting for us is gonna be the agencies, pretty much. We won't have lots of public input.
Okay, so if anyone doesn't show up, what's your policy gonna be, do you know?
Generally, we just, Jim, we just leave it up to them for when they can re-attend, correct?
So if they do not show up, they are contacted and given, this is your last opportunity to come forward. So the 22nd, based on what we're looking at for a tentative schedule right now, they would have an opportunity to come back on, I think we've got, the next one would be the 29th.
Yep.
So,
So should we keep that, keep them also, the ones that don't show up, as a night that can come on the 13th?
yeah, I think that would be a reasonable
Yep.
path. That's a fairly light night as far as budget's concerned.
And then you wouldn't have to go through 12 or 14 agencies, maybe only 2 that night.
Okay. Okay, let's vote on Bobby's first motion to make it October 22nd for agencies. Then we'll do a second motion to have it the 13th as anyone that doesn't make it on the 22nd. Does that work for everybody?
Back up.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
We can just add it to this motion,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
it's one motion.
Go ahead, Bobby, if you want.
So, I'm gonna make a motion that we move agency grants in conjunction with the select board meeting on October 22nd. For any agencies that cannot attend, they are welcome to come November 13th at just the budget.
Still gonna second that?
Second.
Okay, no further discussion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Leanne, can you do a roll call, please?
Brian DeShays.
Yes.
Tom Bell.
Yes.
Bobby Broken.
Yes.
Brian Black.
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Justin Brown.
Yes.
And that's it. Okay. 5-0.
Okay,
Six.
Oh, what? Sorry.
3, 4, 5,
We good?
6. Sorry.
6.
okay, so the next thing you're gonna take care of, Jim, fire and emergency management and police at the new building?
Yep,
Okay,
the 20th and the 4th.
okay. How about Bobby's suggestion, any comments about that? I don't know how we're gonna do that, how we can move everything up, but because it always seems you always get some things out a little bit late than they're supposed to be, or something holds something up. But
Is there another really light night that can be moved up to the 13th?
Okay, so, hold on, can I speak?
yeah, of course.
So, just so everybody knows, I've already knocked off 3 dates from last year. So I've decreased it by 3 dates.
Okay.
In addition, there are no meetings the week of Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
There's also, which hasn't been, we have not had any meetings the week of Thanksgiving or Christmas for probably 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. I only left that gap because the last several years I have scheduled it the first week of November, and we've run into an issue, as, you know, with the printing, and it's cut really, really close. So I was just trying not to, I was just trying to give the Board of Selectmen that, well, and staff time to make the copies and not have that stress, to allow time. And then, but we, like I said, because the first week that the 6th falls on, the Board of Selectmen meet on the 5th, and then we would meet on the 6th. So it's up to, I mean, if Jim thinks we can, the budget books can get pushed out, because I know that Amy on that Friday prior has to get packets out. She's working on packets Thursday, Friday, because the agenda's due on Wednesday. So I just kind of feel like it's a really tight time frame for her. And that's why I give her that week.
So my question would be, on November 13th, if we get rid of the agencies, that saves a lot of time. Is there another meeting that we can combine with the November 13th that it's really short now, and that could move everything forward from the back end? Is there one? I don't know. I'm looking at them. I'm not sure which one would be easiest or possible. Or does it make the 13th meeting just way too long?
No, well, and then, so here's another issue we might run into, is if you noticed as we start to come down on the 18th, I have an open date on the 18th. And then I have on the 30th warrant articles, final budget. But what you're gonna find is, we can move things down. We can start on like the 11th, right? Tuesday the 11th. Amy could have the whole week to get the first week. She'd have to get the binders done, and we could maybe start 2 days early. But what you're gonna find on the flip side, Brian, is that the warrant articles are not ready.
Okay.
And that's what we need to do at the end. It's all warrant articles, and the warrant articles are never ready prior to the 30th. Very rarely are they in.
Yeah, they
And-
should be, but they're not.
But they're not, right, and they're not ready, and we're done the budget. So what do we do?
So
right?
is there a way just to make one of these days easier? Do we
Which
have
days?
Do we have one of the regular meeting days that's tough that
No.
we can that we can pull and put a piece in on the 13th, so that the 13th is more of a normal meeting instead of a real short one?
This 13th?
Yeah.
Um,
Like, is Tuesday the 9th a real heavy lift, or Thursday, December 11th, is that a heavy lift?
So you're saying like take finance and IT and put it on November?
Grab a piece, 1 or 2 pieces, and move them up just so that it balances, so that we have, because some nights we have real long nights, and some nights we have real short nights. And yes, we just mucked up your whole schedule, I understand.
No, it's not that, it's just, I mean, quite honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know if you've noticed, but the way that KC has put things in motion,
Yeah.
you've really gone through the budget fairly
Yeah.
expediently
Yeah.
the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So we've been able to handle this load.
Okay.
If you think things might be a little different this year, then yeah, we should change things up. I'm not sure what you're thinking, Jim.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think there's one night, do you see one night that you think traditionally, Jim, would be tough for us, or the busiest night? I look at the 17th, and the Libby Museum is going to be a very small issue. Parks and Rec is fairly quick. The Pop Whalen Fund is,
So I think your most complicated night is December 9th.
that's what I thought.
Public Works, Water, Sewer, there's a lot there. December 11th, although there's a lot there are a lot of smaller budgets, not a huge lift on those items. And in looking at the schedule, right, so if you guys, as the Budget Committee, if the Board of Selectmen moves the warrant articles to you for December 15th, the last day for a petition warrant article to come forward is January 14th. So that essentially gives a month for a petition warrant article to come forward if the Board of Selectmen do not bring an article forward. So I think that this schedule, at least in my opinion, seems to work well, and it does give good timeline for submission of petition articles if the board forwards the warrant on that for the December 15th review.
Okay.
And in the last couple of years, even though the Public Works, Water and Sewer, I don't think it's been more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
You guys have been able to get it done in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
So even with the capital outlay, I mean, it could be different this year, I don't know. But you guys have really done well with reviewing.
Is there a way to move Tuesday, January 13th up to the 8th and move Thursday, January 15th up to the 12th? Or is that hindered by something with the select board?
It's going to depend on when we receive the warrant articles, and it's also going to depend on the SB2 town calendar for public hearing schedules, and that's not out yet. And usually I can't, what is it, like the 20th is typically, or 18th is
It's
typically
usually
the
the third
last.
Thursday of the month is
Yeah,
the
you
last
have to
day
have it,
Yeah.
and
to
it has
hold
to
the budget
be,
hearing.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
We go right to the end.
If those warrant articles aren't ready, we go right to the end.
To the
And-
11th hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, but otherwise, the purpose of this whole discussion was to free up the holidays, and if that's not an issue
Yeah, it was
this
okay.
year, why jam ourselves up, unnecessarily?
Well, one of the problems was last year, we had our public hearing after our budget and warrant article public hearing was after the date where people could petition, do a petition warrant article. So if the people don't have the public hearing and don't know the budget until after that petition timeframe on January 14th, if we're doing this on January 15th, we are not giving the citizens the right to come forward with any budgetary warrant articles. And we have seen in the past that they have helped our town immensely, allowing the citizens to come forward with some of those warrant articles. So it just, I just worry about that date on the 15th, having our public hearing, and having a budget in place after the citizens can no longer petition.
that 15th and 13th, that is truly a draft date.
Mhm.
until I get the SB2 town calendar from NHMA,
Mhm.
I can't put that in stone. I'm only guessing
Okay.
because I know for a fact it has to be, like Jim said, before the third Thursday?
I believe that's what it is.
And the third Thursday is the 15th.
Mhm.
So I was conservative and did the 15th as the last possible date.
Okay.
And I took the 13th as the last
Yeah.
possible.
That's why I was saying, if we just move it into the 8th that you already have there, and the 12th, the 8th and the 12th, but you're saying it's still a problem with the
Depends if
warrant
it's ready.
articles.
If it's ready,
Yes, yeah.
Dan's saying if it's ready, she can bump this
Yeah.
up because she has
Yeah.
3 open
Yeah.
dates.
Yeah, and I did those 3 open dates because if there's changes in those warrant articles, like last year, we actually had, we had
Special meeting.
a special meeting. So I purposely put in several last minute open dates in case we needed another special meeting or, I think we had actually a special public hearing at the last minute.
All right, so if the 13th, if everybody doesn't mind the 13th being a quick, easy meeting and the rest of them are all good, I have no issue.
Are you back on November?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Do we need a motion to accept, or is that? It
Yeah.
is- It is
No,
what it
we-
is.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just doing a motion that we're going to meet at the new building, new fire and police station, and that the dates of January 8th, 12th, 13th, and 15th will be scheduled at a later date once we have the guidance from the New Hampshire Municipal Association concerning the deadlines for the dates. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Leanne, could you do a roll call, please?
Brian DeShays,
Yes.
Tom Bell,
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Evan, John McDonald,
Yes?
Brian,
Yes.
Justin Brown,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay, so we'll see what we can do on the next meeting on the schedule, but this looks okay for everybody other than the changes we've talked about, right? Okay. Okay, draft rules of procedure. I'd like to put these off until the next meeting when we have more members here. That way that everyone can hear what we want to talk about. And not have them jump in when we've gone halfway through them and get everything kind of concluded. Does that work for everybody?
So we're postponing, is
Yes.
that what you just said?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you need a motion to table them? Table the discussion?
Sure, Brian, go ahead.
I just made it.
Okay, is there a second? Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of tabling the discussion on the rules of procedure till our next meeting, please. Leanne, again, I'm sorry. I was
Yes.
gonna say aye, but
Aye.
we're gonna do a roll call.
We're doing a roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Brian, Tom, okay. Tom?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Brian? John McDonald?
Yes.
Justin Brown? 6-0.
Okay. Town managers report.
Not much to report out to you. It's not been long since we last met, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of items, as alluded to earlier. July 16th, that's when the Board of Selectmen will receive their budget guidelines for approval. Hopefully on the 17th, they will be issued to department heads. Also, right now, tentatively, we're looking at August 20th as the date when the audit report will be delivered in public session to the Board of Selectmen. That's what we're shooting for at this time. As you probably can see, the Main Street Waterline project has finally buttoned up, so hopefully we're over that hurdle for the summer. We do have applications in for grants for sewer line replacement. First year we did that, I think we were 60th on the list. Last year we were in the 30s, so we'll see where we're at this year. If we score well and we're awarded, that will be on the warrant for consideration. That's about all I have for you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jim. That fresh pavement really made a difference.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, it was a paving company assisting Dawson's this time.
Yeah.
It makes a much bigger deal. You
Yeah.
have a paving company.
And I see that everything's all striped now for the
Yeah.
spaces between the crosswalks and all that. That looks good.
That's to be determined at a later date.
Oh, really?
In
Yeah.
my brain.
Okay, any other business by anybody? Any public comment? Any questions? Okay, I'm sorry it's such a short meeting, but we had some absences that I excused for some issues to some of the members, and I apologize for that.
I think we hashed our calendar. That
So
works.
if I can get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Okay, Leanna, roll call, please.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
I think it's
Yes.
unanimous.
Bobby abstains.
I don't think there's anybody that
Yeah, I
really
wanna
wants
stay.
stay.
Okay, thank you, everybody.